Hello again, awesome people, and today we're going to talk characters. Specifically, how to make yours not stink. And look, disclaimer, I'm not saying that to belittle anyone at all, but man, how often have some of you guys come across a character in a book that just... Come on, you don't want people saying the stuff about your character, what some of you guys have said about certain other characters in certain other novels. Do ya? Do ya? I'm going to kind of break these down into number 1, number 2, and number 3, because, hey, it's just a little more organized that way. But, like a video I presented a little while ago, the order does not necessarily mean, okay, number 1 is the greatest, and number 3 is the least. They're just for our convenience. Let's get right into it. 1. You do not have to make your character some whacked-out race like an anthropomorphic badger or a space seahorse. Which, don't get me wrong, can be cool in a kind of weird way. Space seahorse? But it isn't necessary. You can create a character that stands on its own and is awesome being just a good old-fashioned human or dwarf, goblin, or elf. Seriously though, no more elves. Enough. The reason I bring this point up is because I've kind of noticed a trend where it seems a character is more valid if it's, a non-human or some weird race. Not just a non-human, but some kind of whacked-out race thing, which, as I said, can be cool and is great and awesome and fine, but it isn't necessary. Well, yeah, I have this character, I had this idea or whatever, but, they're just a human. I hear things like that, and I think, well, you've got the character. Use the character. Who cares if it's a human? Good thing if it's a human. We need humans. I mean, this argument could go a couple different ways, but bottom line is, humans are fine. Goblins are fine. Dwarves are fine. Make your character something we're familiar with. Make it the best of that thing that you envision it to be. Nothing wrong with a fish with wings, however. Number 2, and I know you've heard this one probably 1,000 times, your character needs to be relatable. Yes, I'm afraid it's one of those staples that just bears repeating because I still see very often people prioritizing the coolness of the character or the heroicness of the character or the mysteriousness of the character and forgetting to lay the foundational building blocks of what makes a character, not just a thing on a page. Especially, gray characters that are kind of, well, they're not all good, but they're not all bad type of thing. It really has traction in the author community. And again, there's nothing wrong with characters like that. But there has been a tendency to let a lot of these things kind of drift. As in the character's there, but it doesn't have an anchor. It's got the darkness and the gray areas and, well, would she, would he, would they, but they don't have the anchor point. And this has killed many a would-be awesome character. Because in order to make us care about this anti-hero or this gray character or this person that treads the line, so to speak, they have to have that special something that makes us connect with him. That spark that makes us, And readers need that spark. They need that thing that attaches them to your character. For instance, we don't want to just focus on the darkness aspect alone of Gollum's past and the current threat that he poses if we're going to weave his character into the narration in the way I was just talking about. We need to also highlight very importantly and very pointedly the fact that he is, 1, a tortured soul, 2, he can't help himself because he's been taken over and corrupted by the treasure that he hates and loves. And 3, deep down, he could become a good person. And in fact, almost did. Now, because this can be a somewhat difficult thing to pinpoint for some people in the writing aspect itself, in actually putting it into practice, so to speak. In writing, ways to incorporate, those things that connect us to your gray characters would be moments in the story where your character is, practicing calligraphy. Maybe they really like calligraphy, and there's a page where they're just practicing their calligraphy and pondering. Or maybe they're meditating in their forest home, or while on the road, or at night by the campfire. And I don't mean meditating to gain some greater type of power. I mean just meditating. Now, of course, you want to pace these moments. You don't want to just fill your book up with them. But moments like these will go so much farther than you might casually think. They will embed little things in our minds about how we perceive that character. It'll cement solidness and uniqueness in the character. And that's what we need. Just something to consider. Number 3. Motivation. Let's get something very clear here. Your character can be the coolest, most grayest, most awesomest, whatever. Without motivation, they lack something hugely essential. Really, you might say? Well, to that I would say ask yourself this question. Without motivation, what is the point of anything that he or she does? What is the point of why they get up in the morning? What's the point of why they go out to the village square? What is the point of the choice they made to keep that dagger that they were supposed to return to the king for themselves? Motivation is a key ingredient, without which your character will fail. A lot of books that I've read or come across are also missing this key element. And again, it has to do with the fact that they're very wrapped up in the coolness of the character, you know, the skills or the heroics or the evil or whatever. The motive prompts the action, not the action, the motive. Count Olaf from A Series of Unfortunate Events is a greedy, selfish villain with no concern whatsoever for the lives of other people, most notably children. But his actions throughout the series are motivated by his desire to get a hold of the Baudelaire fortune. And that is what made his actions so much more dastardly and disgusting and evil. The fact that he killed the people that he did, along with all the other crimes that he committed, all because he wants to steal money from children, is just... man. Sometimes it's very easy to get lost in the character's actions that you forget the why of their actions. But it is something that is key and essential and something we don't want to forget when crafting great characters of our own. It's easy to point out the flaws in other characters and in other stories that we love even, but trust me, keeping these things in mind that we've just discussed will disable anyone else from saying such dreadful things about your characters when your time comes. Well, almost. Haters gonna hate. It'll also help you close up certain plot holes along the way. You've got your character's motivation down, then certain plot holes aren't even going to come to your mind. And if they do manage to slip in, when you go back through, you'll be like, gotcha. Your character will be so much better solidified to you. And that also is invaluable. And that's pretty much it for this video. Please share, like if you so desire, and hit subscribe. Till the next video, you guys.